Is it working? Ah, amazing! It's working! Ah, I swear the world has just flipped itself on and the in black hole, squish, gone, sanity out window. Everything is really trying my patience today. You can't see loads of wires. Everything is broken. I've not had to say that in a while. But making me feel a bit crazy topic of my day. And other people's sanity, really. Which would you rather? A human being sifting through the cesspool of the internet and humanity in general, or an algorithm? As much as I bloody hate the things, I'm going to vote algorithm. But first, let me tell you a story. It was fantastic. So, a comment was left yesterday on a most amazing social network that I recommend absolutely no one use, Facebook. And I replied, okay, and I ripped into myself. I put up a little post and I basically called myself a cunt. Said it, sorry, should have warned you, but I called myself out. I said, yeah, mate, I think I said something to the effect of basically I'm an ugly cunt. It's true. I admit it. That's why I don't turn on any lights, because if I turn on too many more, lenses are going to break, and those things are expensive, and I don't want you to have nightmares. You'll have to go see a mental doctor to you'll be doing Rorschach tests just like on everything. Calm down. It's not a big deal, right? But I put this post up, right, and I got a warning for cyberbullying. I was like, what? Yeah, it's against community guidelines. You know, it was just a warning. It wasn't an actual like, oh, steamrolled, get off the internet thing, man. It was literally like, by the way, you shouldn't, don't post things like this. Makes people upset and angry, and it's very much like bullying. This is definitely against, or most likely against terms of service. We will have to kind of you if you just because you're a dick. And I was like, I just called myself names, and the algorithm's a bit kind of because it doesn't understand context, right? So it doesn't understand the context of the message. It can tell the contents of the message, and it's got like a blacklist of things that it doesn't want people to say. But when are we gonna when are we gonna blacklist blacklists? Like, hey, we've got a whitelist and a blacklist. When are we gonna change that? Because I'm sure someone's gonna get upset about that too. Don't say that's not cool. The thing doesn't actually know what you are saying. Well, it knows what you're saying in the message, but it doesn't know what you are saying. It doesn't understand the kind of weight behind it. It doesn't understand how you're saying it. It just sees it as raw input, raw data. And I don't know, it just made me chuckle. Right? We've gotten to the point where the wild west of the internet has been neutered. It's sterile now, and it's boring. Right? You could. I think at this point, I would rather spend, like, for the sake of my sanity, I don't know, 22 hours on 4chan's B-boards. Which, in case anyone doesn't know, 4chan's B-boards are like basically just people post anything. And in a lot of cases, in hopes of kind of making people go, ah, and flip out, right? But you can just do that on Facebook now. So, I mean, you know, the B-boards were kind of, they were like the gutter of the internet, and they're fantastic. I would probably rather. I doubt I could probably spend more time on b-boards and not lose my mind than if I were on Facebook. Realistically, right? And in fairness, actually, people on 4chan are generally nicer than people on Facebook. Like 4chan is still the wild west of the internet. Some people would consider it a cesspool of the internet. I would say no, that's Facebook. But yeah, I would rather an algorithm do all of this stuff than a human being, because imagine I go on the internet. I've been kind of cutting back a lot, but imagine if you literally had to spend 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, however many hours a day your job would be to comb through stuff on the internet. Imagine spending all that time and you see some of the most gruesome stuff, and not by choice. And then you go home and I don't know, you do more of it. Like you go to your own profiles on whatever site, maybe even a site that you work on, and you just start pulling your hair out. Imagine the stress, the depression that these content filter geezers have to go through. The people who actually sit there and manually check through content. First off, there's way too much content out there for any human beings to realistically comb through. They just can't do it all. There's just too much. So some smart ass has to script something to go, not that, not that. That's kind of like what Facebook have done with their comments. Like, oh, I can't say that word. That's naughty. I've been warned once before for calling my mate a whore, which he thought was hilarious. But I mean, if I can't call him a whore and myself a cunt, then but and that's that. I don't think that's a particularly bad thing. You know, I mean, what I've said, I don't think they're particularly bad things to say, in the grand scheme of things. And yet, when you look at some of the stuff that ends up on the internet, absolute insanity. I am just literally looking at this from the point of someone who would have to sit there and scroll through endless amounts of complete and utter bollocks. Kind of like this, really. But you're clicking this by choice. They would actually have to sit there. Kind of, if you've ever worked in a call center, people seem to think that you're dialing them. Like if it's an outbound call center, like for surveys or whatever, people seem to think you are calling them. No, it's some poor bugger sat with a headset in front of a computer, and there's a dialer in another room. And it dials, and it finds a number, and then it assigns that number to a machine in another room, and some poor muggin sat there, and the screen just goes, boo, now read your script. And then people get really angry, and the people on the phone get really depressed and all that kind of stuff. It's just, it's a horrible, horrible job. Really nice people work those jobs, to be fair, but horrible, horrible job. Same kind of thing with this whole content filter thing. People, they just sit there, and all of a sudden it's like, bam, new thing, man kicks dog. Or something, I don't know. New mother flushes child or something. I don't know. Random something or other. Big YouTuber gets face microwaved. This isn't particularly algorithm friendly at this point, but you know what I mean. It's they would have to sit there, and because it's their job, they would have to sit and watch this stuff and slowly but surely lose their minds. I mean, they must. I really hope whoever's doing those jobs, I hope the companies have really good care packages for them, like for mental health and all that kind of stuff. Or if they have to go off sick for depression or whatever, I really, really hope those people are looked after. Although I understand that that's kind of a revolving door job too, because it doesn't take any skill to do it. But, oh my God, imagine some of the stuff they have to look at. If my kind of stuff is considered offensive, imagine the absolute horrors that some of these people actually have to manually verify. And they do it for a job every single day. As I say, I would personally rather sit on 4chan's B-boards for for like 20 hours a day and have like no sleep and minimal toilet breaks and minimal food breaks, I think I would probably hold up mentally longer than a like a Facebook fact checker or a content reviewer for like YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and all that. It's just, oh my god, it's horrible. Algorithms are dumb, but you've got complete bastards on the internet, and we're really sensitive these days. We don't even like certain words anymore. It's horrible. And we're upset by words. Words. Not even like a video or a picture. Just words are enough to upset people now. When do we get so soft? Look at the world I brought my children into. And my children are getting really bad too. Really, not like for getting upset, triggered kind of thing. And I hate getting triggered, but they're the kids that are now going around saying stuff that's upsetting people. So what are you upset for? Like, they're not purposely trying to upset people, but they're like, well, why is that a bad thing to say? I was like, well, it isn't. But they think it is. It's like, yeah, because I don't know. They had a baseball bat shoved up their backside as a child or something. I don't know. It's not that bad of a thing if you talk about it in context. Got to remember, I had to, for anyone that doesn't know the story, I had to explain racism because of Blanca in Street Fighter. And my children said, that's dumb. Why does anyone care? I was like, I don't know. You tell me. Like, what's the big deal? But just, we're all mental. We are all absolutely mental. And because we're all absolutely mental, these poor content reviewers have to suffer on the daily. What would you rather? Would you, because I know a lot of people do complain about it. Oh, I can never get in contact with a human. I can never get in contact with a human. And then when you actually get in contact with a human, you get really pissed off. Like, I know I do. I did. A couple of days ago, I had to contact my bank, and I had to contact PayPal, and I had to contact Music House Toman about an order I put in back in like January, and it's still not here, right? But I was like, oh, I'm gonna message him fucking keyboard warrior at hardcore, yeah, keyboard warrior, right? And I'm doing it, I'm doing the thing, and I got really angry because the machine said no. It just didn't work. It didn't go anywhere. There was no support representatives around to actually answer my questions or to help me out. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to phone them up. And I hate talking to people on the phone. I absolutely hate it. I've had friends in my life who, like, they've known me for, I don't know, what was the longest example? Probably a decade. I knew someone years and years and years ago. I'd known them since they were like 14. I don't think. No, God, I was even longer than that. She was probably like 26 by the time I answered the phone. Like, I hate talking on the phone. Absolutely hate it. And then it's like, when I actually started doing call up the PayPals, it was like, oh yeah, look, press 1, talk to the machine, and the machine will give you the cookie cutter answer that you don't want. Because I was like, okay, yeah, next query or whatever. Next query. Can you repeat that? I was like, fucking give me a human. And then you finally get to a human after 10 minutes of going through options, right? And then that human's got a slightly off tone and you just want to snap your phone in half. Just, oh my God. So, which would you prefer? Which annoys you more, the people or the algorithms? Or the sites in general, or whatever it is? I've got this groove going on right now. Oh, what was it? One of my mates said something. It's a death track. Misanthrope? can't remember. But I've got the groove of that's a Carcass lyric. My hell is other people. That's right, my hell is you. And it's true. Realistically, for a lot of people. You know, and just one more thing that came up in conversation. Speaking of other people driving people insane, no one ever thought about the shut-ins during we're in a current global pandemic, a lockdown. Everyone's like, oh, what about all the extroverts? What about all the people who have to just get out there and blurt everything out all the time? They have to literally cling to you and like hump your leg and that all the time. Every time they see you, they're practically licking you and spitting over you and that. What about all the shut-ins? I was like, oh, well, that's not that big of a deal, is it? That's not that big of a deal. And I was thinking about it today. For me, it didn't start off too bad. But then I had to start dealing with other people. People I wouldn't normally have to deal with 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I started to get really awkward. And I'm starting to think, what about all those other people? You know, the people who just aren't used to seeing people at all. And now they are practically forced to spend all day with other people. They're having to share that space with other people. You know, you've got... Think about all the people who have to spend their days with their partners all the time. The horror. Like, oh yeah, they've only got a few things that annoy me, you know, and then, like, nearly a year and a half later, people are like, oh my god, I didn't realise they had so many things that I fucking hate about them. Oh man, it's great. Other people. Love them. I'm such a people person. And the algorithm thinks that I'm fucking nuts. I'm not even allowed to be cruel to myself. So that said, I'm going to head off. I've been rabbiting on for 17 minutes. I could have done this in 10. There's going to come a time when we're just not going to be able to... You're going to go somewhere near a keyboard or your brain computer interface thing, and it's just going to go, nah, mate. Just put it down. Just leave it alone. Because we're not going to let you. Just know. We've sensed that your heart rate's up, your breathing's pretty heavy. You've either just had a wank, you're about to have a heart attack, or you're about to say something stupid online. Go away. Love it. Hope you're well, and I'll see you all with a bit of luck in the next one. Pointless video! Nailed it! Woo! Done. See ya.